The first thing that strikes me about this photograph is the road. It does not cut through the landscape in a straight line, as roads often do. Instead, it bends, turns upon itself, and makes a complete U-turn before continuing on its course. The geometry of the road stands in sharp contrast to the rugged terrain around it. The hills are irregular, the vegetation scattered, and the landscape appears to have developed without any concern for symmetry or order. Yet the road imposes a certain discipline upon this wilderness. It adapts to the contours of the land rather than attempting to conquer them. The golden grass, the muted colors of winter, the distant slopes, and the sweeping curve of the highway create a composition in which movement and stillness exist together. The road appears to be going backward, but in reality, it is advancing. It has simply recognized that the direct path is not the correct path. There is a tendency in human thinking to associate progress with a straight line. We imagine that if we have chosen a direction, then changing that direction represents weakness, indecision, or failure. We are taught to persist, to remain committed, and to never look back. There is value in persistence, but persistence without judgment is merely stubbornness. A person can spend years moving with great determination in the wrong direction. In such circumstances, continuing forward is not necessarily progress. Sometimes the intelligent course of action is to reverse direction, reconsider the objective, and approach the destination from an entirely different side. This is not retreat. It is correction. The road in this photograph illustrates that principle with remarkable simplicity. The U-turn is not an interruption in the journey. The U-turn is part of the journey itself. The road does not stop when it turns. It turns because that is how it continues. This principle extends far beyond roads. In life, there are moments when a career must be reconsidered, when a decision must be reversed, when an ambition must be abandoned, or when a familiar path must be exchanged for an unfamiliar one. There are circumstances in which the greatest mistake is not turning around when the evidence clearly demands it. A person who has invested 10 years in the wrong direction may feel compelled to continue simply because 10 years have already been invested. But time spent on a path does not make that path correct. A ship does not remain on the wrong course because it has already traveled a great distance. It changes its bearing. A navigator understands that arriving at the destination is more important than preserving the original direction. The same is true of life. A change in direction may appear, to an observer, to be a step backward. But the observer sees only the movement of the vehicle. The traveler knows the destination. Perhaps that is the central idea contained in this otherwise ordinary curve of asphalt. Sometimes a U-turn is not an option, it is the only way forward. There is no contradiction in this statement. Forward movement is defined not by the direction in which we are currently facing, but by whether we are moving closer to where we ought to be. The road in this photograph turns almost completely upon itself, and yet it continues toward its destination. That is the paradox. The apparent reversal is actually progress. Perhaps we should judge our own decisions by the same standard. Not by how consistent we appear to others. Not by whether we have always moved in the same direction. But by whether the direction we are taking is leading us toward the place we have chosen to reach. And when it is not, there is no shame in turning. The road itself offers the simplest demonstration. Sometimes, the only way to move forward is to turn around.